Live streaming is on. Hi, everybody. Good morning. How are you? Let me know you're here. Um, it is Wednesday, August 25th. So I'm going to be really aggravating. There are 119 shopping days until Christmas. Um, but it's going to be hot today. It's going to be 90. Operation Cool Down is in effect for the city. So those cooling centers are open. The water fountains are open for the kids. Many of the public libraries are open up until 5:30, 6 o'clock. Those cooling places, and Gant is a cooling place as well. If you go into Google Classroom, you can see I've posted them in the past. If you want a fresh post, I can do that. But be careful out there today. We can dehydrate very quickly. Um, cool down, drink water. Watch out for the young folk and the old folk and anyone who is fragile. So be careful. We're going to move right into reading, and we're going to talk about this lesson that we began last week, where we decide whether or not an author, by the way she's written a passage, um, has made an effective argument. And are her main points clear, convincing, and even interesting? Because that's important. If you don't draw in your audience, then you're not going to no one's going to listen to what you have to say. The communication won't be complete. So I want to share my screen with you today because I'm a giving person. So what you have there is a nice cup of coffee. I don't know if you all drink coffee, if you like coffee. I drink it from time to time. Um, there are times when a nice cup of coffee just hits the spot, gives you a little mental kick. And I can drink it with black. I can drink it with cream, a little bit of sugar, um, and that's it. So let's talk about coffee, and let's decide whether or not a strong argument has been made for whether or not coffee is good for us. Let's take a look. Is coffee good for you? So the argument is yes, but it depends on the kind of coffee you drink and how much you drink. This is an article. Oh, it says scam or not, because some people say that coffee is a health food. So yes, but it depends on the kind and the quantity. Let's begin our critical analysis of this article. It was written by Don McKean. The New York Times is one of the more influential newspapers in the country, along with the Washington Post, the Los Angeles Times. Those are some of the papers in the larger cities, and you can read them for free. Not every day, but you can skip around and read different newspapers written all around the country. That's a good thing to do to learn how to get information about what's going on in the community, your country, and even the world. So let's take a look. It says, we've come a long way from the cans of Folgers that filled our grandparents' cupboards, along with our oat milk lattes, cold brews, and frappuccinos. Hmm. Some of us are still very utilitarian about the drink, while others perform elaborate rituals. So some of us just make a cup of black coffee and call it a day, and others got the steamers to make the steam milk. They got espressos. We can use Grecas, um, French pour over. There's so many. So coffee is the fourth most popular beverage in this country. Coffee is steeped in our culture. Just the right amount can improve our mood. Too much may make us feel anxious and jittery. In fact, the origins of coffee are in Africa, so it is a very old drink. And for the use of the caffeine, that's been used over thousands of years. So here's the meat. Is coffee good for me? Yes. In moderation, coffee seems to be good for most people, and that's 3 to 5 cups daily or up to 400 milligrams of caffeine. How can I find out how much caffeine is in a cup? Hold on, I'm coming right back. I just want to check something to see if that information is available. So I've got here a box of coffee, these little pods. They've got that little, they've got that thing here at work where you could drop a pod in. So this is a box of coffee and it's got all kinds of good information. But guess what? It does not tell me how much caffeine is in 1 cup. So how do I know how many milligrams are in a cup? Well, if I divided 400 milligrams by 5 cups, what is 400 divided by 5? I think it's 80, right? So you get about 80 milligrams per cup of coffee, per average cup of coffee. Oh my gosh, you had me doing math. What happened here? So the evidence is pretty consistent that coffee is associated with a lower risk of mortality. Huh. Said Erica Lotfield, a research fellow at the here we go, at the National Cancer Institute, who has studied the beverage. So here we go. We've been given a person with credibility. She researches foods that can prevent cancer. All right. So let's think. We're still analyzing here. And so for years, coffee was believed to be a possible carcinogen causing cancer. But the 2015 diet guidelines, and you can click on the diet guidelines that are made by the federal government, they're updated every few years. So I believe, I'm not sure if there was one after 2017. Yes, it comes out every 5 years. So there is a guideline that came out last year, but this helped to change perception. So for the first time, moderate coffee drinking is included as part of a healthy diet. So when research is controlled for lifestyle factors like how many heavy coffee drinkers also smoked, the data tipped in coffee's favor. Huh. A large review on coffee consumption and human health in the British Medical Journal, okay, again, another source that we would find credible, found that most of the time coffee was associated with a benefit rather than a harm. In examining more than 200 reviews of previous studies, the authors observed that moderate coffee drinkers had less cardiovascular disease and premature death from all causes, including heart attacks and stroke, than those skipping the beverage. Wow. In addition, experts say some of the strongest protective effects may be with type 2 diabetes, Parkinson's disease, and liver conditions such as cirrhosis, liver cancer, and chronic liver disease. And sometimes when we have diabetes, we start having some liver function decrease. So here it says, for example, and this is a study, having about 5 cups a day instead of none is correlated with a 30% decreased risk of type 2 diabetes, according to a meta-analysis of 30 studies. So they analyzed the studies which had already been analyzed. However, think about this as a study. Who is actually drinking 5 cups of coffee a day? That's a little extreme. So the potential benefit from coffee might be from the polyphenols, which are plant compounds which have antioxidant properties. And if you think about it, dark colored vegetables and fruits normally have higher antioxidants, which can prevent cancer. They keep your cells young. The, so this is Dr. Giuseppe Grosso, an assistant professor in human nutrition at the University of Catania in Italy, and the lead author of an umbrella review it's a journal, which called the Annual Review of Nutrition, and then you'll have articles about different things affecting nutrition. However, coffee is not for everyone. There are concerns about overconsumption. This is especially true for expecting mothers. I was pregnant, I really wouldn't drink coffee. The safety of caffeine during pregnancy is not clear. That includes Coca Cola, y'all. While the research into coffee's impact on health is ongoing, most of the work in this field is observational. So they're not doing directed research, they're kind of just looking at what's going on. We don't know if coffee is the cause of health benefits, says Jonathan Fallowfield, a professor at the University of Edinburgh and co author of the British Medical Journal Review. These findings could be due to other factors or behaviors present in coffee drinkers. So maybe coffee drinkers have other habits that can give them better health. Here's the real thing. Does the way coffee is prepared, does it matter? Yes. Do you prefer a light or a dark roast? Coarse grinding or fine? Arabica or Robusta? All of these different aspects affect the taste, but also the chemicals within the coffee. But it's not clear at all how these different levels of compounds may be related to health. And this is coming from Neil Friedman, a senior investigator with the National Cancer Institute. So we are having a number of people who are experts in the field talk about these benefits. For example, roasting reduces the amount of chlorogenic acids, but other antioxidant compounds are found. Espresso has the highest concentration of many compounds because it has less water. A study in the journal Internal Medicine, JAMA, Journal of the American Medical Association, examined the coffee habits of about 500,000 people in the United Kingdom. And it found it didn't matter if they drank 1 cup or chain drank 8, regular decaf, or whether they were fast metabolizers of coffee, whether it went through their body quickly or slowly. They were linked to a lower cause of risk of death from all causes except with instant coffee. You might as well just drink colored water. And the way you prepare your cup may influence your cholesterol levels too. Oh, the one coffee we know not suitable to be drinking is boiled coffee, like when we make it in a greca. And I love my Dominican coffee prepared in a greca. They're saying that's not so good. And this information comes from Marilyn Cornelis, an assistant professor in preventative medicine. Okay. Here we go. We're having experts check in with us. Example of this includes the plunge happy French press, Scandinavian coffee, Greek or Turkish. When poured, the unfiltered grounds settle on the cup's bottom sludge. And so they're saying really not to drink, if the coffee isn't filtered in any way, more that may um, raise bad cholesterol, slightly lower good cholesterol. So filter the coffee. For people with cholesterol issues, it's best to switch to other types of coffee, says Rob Van Dam, a professor of public health in Singapore. He's been studying coffee for 2 decades. So, coffee is drunk all around the world. People love coffee. So other researchers say don't pour out that boiled coffee just yet. The clinical significance of such small increases in cholesterol may be questionable because it's not associated with an increase in heart-related deaths. So many consumers have also swapped loose grounds for coffee pods, and there are environmental concerns with the pods being made out of plastic, but they still have the good benefits. And we're looking at the cold brew now too, but we need to learn more. Last paragraph. Do all kinds of coffee have the same amount of caffeine? No. Espresso has the highest amount, packing about 70 milligrams in a 1 ounce shot, but we usually drink it in smaller quantities. So a typical 12-ounce cup of drip coffee has about 200 milligrams of caffeine, more than instant 140. And yes, brewed decaf has caffeine too, 8 milligrams, which can add up. So if you're someone who should not have coffee, then you may want to rethink even having a decaf. So when you buy it in a coffee house, you don't know what you're going to get because sometimes you can have a 16-ounce blend fluctuate from 250 milligrams all the way up to 564, which is over the federal recommendation. That is not healthy. So, for some of us, we need to know how much caffeine's in our coffee. You know how a friend can get quadruple espresso at 10 and sleep after. And if I have it, I'm up like this, wired. So everybody's body is different because remember, caffeine is a drug and you don't know how your body is going to be affected. So um, either even genetic tests that tell you whether or not you're a fast or slow um, metabolizer of coffee. And this article is much longer than I thought. So we're going to stop right here at is coffee addictive? So just take that information in, read it on your own. We're going to finish it next week, and then we're going to analyze this article. So make sure that you read this on your own. Take care. Have a cool day. Drink your liquids, and we'll see you later.